This is LP Giobbi.
Listen up, children.
You are listening to Femme House Radio.
I said listen up, children.
On Diplo's Revolution, Sirius XM.
A wonderful night is made as much by the dancers as the music. Guided as much by the spirit of joy in the room as by the hand which reaches for the next record. Each of us has a role in tonight's experience. We all play in the band.
This is LP Giobbi, and I founded Femme House, a 501c3 foundation and educational platform that teaches the technical areas of music making for women, non-binary, trans, and other marginalized gender identities. Every week, I will be interviewing and spotlighting women in music while bringing you the best dance tunes from around the world. This is LP Giobbi, and you are listening to the very first episode of Femme House Radio on Diplo's Revolution on Sirius XM. Today we have a very special guest, my co-founder of Femme House and my frequent collaborator, Hermixalot. Most recently, you can hear her on my record Move Your Body and Scuff Your Soul. She's a powerful woman with a powerful voice in front of and behind the music, and she is also my best friend over the last decade. Hermixalot and I first started working together 10 years ago when we decided to throw a wild disco party in San Francisco, which eventually led us to co-founding Femme House, a nonprofit that teaches women how to produce music. Hermixalot, what was your first memory around our first conversation dreaming up Femme House?
Oh my God. A lot of those memories have been lost to time and bourbon.
That'll do it.
It kind of feels like our entire friendship has been a conversation about Femme House. I guess my earliest memories are just of us dreaming about how to take over the world and save it. I do remember once we were sitting on my fire escape and you were just like, want to do something? And I was like, yeah, okay. And that something turned out to be ISIS, which is extremely typical of our friendship and your personhood, quite frankly.
Tell us a little bit about ISIS as you recall it, if you can recall it, because those were some wild times.
Oh, man. It was the funnest time in my life. And I still look back at it and can't understand why anyone allowed us to do anything. And, you know, just like, it's just a bunch of memories that don't have a timeline. Like the first time we went to buy mannequins and we were completely shaken by how expensive mannequins were.
So true.
And like you had a throne made, which is so stupid. It just sat in the back of the room, like there were no lights on it or anything.
For those of you who don't know, ISIS is the name of the party that we threw together before the terrorist group took over that name.
Man, there was a minute there in history where it was like, is it ISIS or is it ISIL? And we were like,
ISIL, come on!
It obviously didn't go our way, but what a year it was.
ISIS is actually the name of an Egyptian goddess, but, you know, who knew where that was going to take us?
You know what? Speaking of ISIS, I happen to have right here. I just found this in like an old notebook that I'm using.
That was our logo. Yes.
This was our logo, and we had temporary tattoos made. So we would give them out to all the weirdos. And by the end, everyone would just be covered, like every bare part of their skin just covered in our logo.
We had some great artists play. We had Kim Ann Foxman. We had PBR Street Gang. Jacques Renault.
Yeah, our first show was House of House, which is so insane.
So beautiful. Kink even played it. That was a wild one.
Which was like transformative to me. You know, like you think about house music and like my history with it is way different than your history with it. And, I kind of found all the other stuff like techno and like all that other shit, like, and then I saw Kink, and I remember I was watching him from the second level because Peter let us have the big room for that party.
Yep.
And all night he just had like what looked to me just like gobbledygook. It looked like he was piloting a spaceship. And he would just like turn a knob a quarter of an inch, and then for like 3.5 minutes afterwards just be like, and I was like, fuck yeah, motherfucker. Do I fuck with whatever this is? Like,
he brings it. He can, it's all, he's making it up as he goes, and he's competing with, mixed mastered MP3 files, and he still crushes it. His lifestyle is unbelievable.
It was remarkable, and that's, I think, it opened my mind to this industry that I'm now like weirdly immersed in.
Totally. House music, man. That was really my first entry into it. I didn't know much about it until we started throwing those parties. So really it all started from there. I didn't know what producing was. I didn't know what a DJ was. I really just wanted to party.
Who was it that you went to see at
Tornado Wallace?
Tornado Wallace, and you were just like the next day you were like, I think I'm gonna be a DJ.
That is exactly what happened. It was, I didn't even know, the first time I saw him, I didn't even know. I thought, like, where's the band? Where's the music coming from? Like, I didn't understand that it was a USB stick and a CDJ, and that was it. My mind was blown. And also, it was just like, it was for your body. It was just meditating for, I think he played 5 hours.
Yeah, you were just like you were like, we were G-chatting from our respective jobs the following day, and you were like, I'm gonna go buy some CDJs tonight. You want to come? And I was like, bitch, did your Molly not get completely out of your system yet? Like, are you okay? What the fuck are you talking about?
Also, I'm not really sure what a CDJ is, or do I spell it with just the letters, or how do but I'll find it. Like, I'll Google search this.
You're like, I don't know. I think I'll figure it out though.
I trust. We'll have fun doing it.
Well, look at you now.
Forward. We're here. I remember talking to you about Femme House when I was trying, I didn't have a name for it, right? But I was trying desperately to learn how to produce, and I took my first Ableton course in San Francisco, and it was like me and 229 dudes. And for me, luckily, that was motivating, but it was also terrifying. And I remember at some point wanting to have a space that would be safe and women could help women and uplift each other and give notes on their tracks and learn how to control that. And that it's been crazy getting here, Lauren.
Yeah, like there's studies, right, where it's proven that women learn differently in a male-driven environment because they don't feel safe and they don't feel comfortable, and men take up a lot of space with their voices and like also just physical space, and they don't leave room for anything except their thoughts and shit. So yeah, being in a room with I remember that really vivid. I didn't remember that until now, but I do remember it was like you were like, I'm demoralized, but also like I just want to fucking rub every stupid pompous dude in this class, like just rub his face in it, which like, whoa, we're literally on Sirius XM talking about it right now, so well done.
A journey.
But yeah, like the spaces that, historically marginalized groups, whether that be people of color or women, white dudes just take up a lot of fucking space, and they don't make it a welcoming space more often than not. So yeah, I guess to that end, it's sort of, yeah, it's been in the works for a long time.
Yeah. I feel really grateful we're here. And when was our very first event? What year was that?
Our first Femme House event?
Yeah.
That's stupid as fuck because it was May 2019, which is so insane because like literally not even 2 years later, we're sitting on the radio. And this is our entire friendship and like how our careers have sort of intertwined over the past decade. It's just been like us looking at each other like.
Exactly. How did we get into this room?
Yeah,
How
it
did
was like,
they?
why?
How did we bust the store down? Did you get the key? I didn't get the key. I think we just kicked it. What is your favorite memory so far of Femme House?
Um, I
Or
think,
feeling?
yeah, I think it's actually there's two of them and they're wildly different. And the first one I think is our launch party at Gibson. Um, we worked on it for a really long time, and when people like started showing up, I was like, did someone get their wires crossed? Like, people are here for us. And it was like heavy hitters in the room. And to that end, you and I both gave speeches. And I remember, like, people were like responding to us like we were like preachers. Like, they were like, yeah. It was like call and response. It's just like people were snapping and shit. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, we are making sense. This is a thing that is resonating. And that's when I think I knew for the first time, like, okay. It's like everything else we've done. It's just like ISIS has been like, okay, I guess we'll take it month to month. But like this was like, whoa,
Yeah.
it's a thing. And it's a thing that people have been thinking about. And people are excited about to see taken on and want to see succeed. And it was also a room, essentially full of our friends and family. And it just so happens that a great number of our friends happen to be amazing artists and, the foremost managers in their fields and the foremost agents and publicists. And they were all in the room like, yo, yes, we need this. And furthermore, we're with you. And that was truly remarkable.
Yes. Oh, I'm right back there, sobbing on stage. Yeah. Sobbing while I'm trying to talk, sobbing while you're talking. Yeah, that was a beautiful moment because I remember thinking, you and I make music. We really care about this, but will the greater industry care about this? Is there an actual need for this? Did other people feel the same way we felt when we started making music? And that to me said, yes, yeah, we need this.
Yeah, totally. The other one is mad different, but it's when we did our first Femme House Presents with Gavin Turek, and it was so much fun. It was just the best day, top to bottom, and the room was essentially empty. And but like it didn't matter. We were just so thrilled, and like Gavin was having a great time. And I remember from stage, she looked out into this open room, and she was like, I don't know why my agent booked me here, but I'm having a great time. It's like to like whatever 75 of us. She was like, your energy is amazing. And I was just like, it's like a high and a low, but like still a high. You know what I mean?
We were doing it. We're gonna figure it out. One brick. That was one brick.
Yeah, one brick.
Totally.
And she's a thriving member of our community. She takes our courses, and
so cool.
It's like it's the build, it's the relationship that has been really remarkable to see. Even like when we swing and we miss.
Totally. It's so cool to see all these singers, singer-songwriters who have started taking the course, who are, I'm guessing, sick of waiting for a producer to finish their music and put it out in the world and wanting to learn how to do that themselves. And it's really cool to see what's going to come of them not having to wait and then being able to put their own songs into Ableton and print that session.
Yeah, sure. And that's like, I know that was one of the driving forces behind actually doing something about this for you when you moved to LA. You're just like, I'm meeting the most talented female artists of our generation probably, and they're just waiting for some dude to say, okay, your turn on the conveyor belt, instead of just like going.
Totally. That was wild to me. And the power dynamics that happen with that situation. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. And,
who sings that song that Jessie Reyes. What is that track called?
I don't remember. But I know
she has a beautiful song about that exact same situation. Mm-hmm. Man, I remember the first time I saw her perform that I sobbed.
Yeah. Because she performs it too, and she's just like she's been exactly there.
Totally.
And like, my guess is that nearly every woman artist has been
Yep.
at some point in time.
Yep. Yes. Hopefully we can help that just a little bit.
Yeah, and I know, like, for me, it's never been about creating, like, we're not going to create a crop of, like, super producers. You know, there's not going to be a bunch of Linda Perrys coming out of this, but if,
Maybe.
you know, maybe a few, but not like, you know,
Well, there are only so many Linda Perrys. It's fair.
yeah, right. But it's just like, you know, if these really talented singers, even if they don't want to produce themselves, can go into a room and say, that's too much reverb.
Yep. EQ this differently. I want actually
Yeah.
this exact chain on my vocals. Totally.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
they're taking an active role in their art
Yep.
and their voice, quite literally.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to snap. Okay, Lauren, what is your favorite club, party that you have either been to or played yourself? Because I've seen you throw it down on that stage, and it is a miracle to witness.
Wow. My favorite place, I don't even know, did I perform that night? What's Anderson's place called? The place that's under audio? It's a restaurant.
Audio in San Francisco and Bergerac? No.
Bergerac.
Bergerac.
Yeah. That's a really fun place to perform. It's a really cool restaurant, and it's just like covered in just like the most funky, like velvet, like luxe furniture. It feels like a house party. If you get the energy exactly right, it feels like a house party. And I remember we were there with Kahlo, and Kahlo was like, "Girl, where's my stage?" And I was like, "No, trust me, like it's lit." And there were a bunch of people sitting around this big like velvet ottoman. And when it was her turn, I was like, "Move, move, move, back up, back up!" And I'm like, we were throwing their drinks off and shit. And she hopped up on there, and like, it was a movie.
I love this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Audio is also one of my favorite places to be and play, just because they have the most remarkable staff. They're so sweet, and like they feel like family. And living here, I've run into them an awful lot, and it's just so lovely. They make it such a wonderful, pleasant experience.
Yeah. My favorite memory of you performing is at Audio in San Francisco at our Animal Talk parties, because that is, you know, there's a DJ booth, and that's for DJ shows. And you were going to sing and perform with me. And you just like cleared out a table. I'm like, I don't know if it was like in the VIP section, but you're like, move, move, move. And you just stood on it, got the mic, and just went. At one point, you're in the crowd, you're back on the table. People are losing their minds. It was packed, 2 sold out nights. Ooh.
I remember the last band that we had there. I think we did like 3 shows in a row, 3 nights in a row.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, we were like, let's switch it up. And like, Peter was like, he's like, I got a wireless mic just for tonight. And he was just like, here. But he forgot to put fucking batteries in it. So in the middle of Perfect Fire. And they had like built a little platform and shit for me in front of the bar, like a stage. So I'm like feeling myself. I'm just like, not them changing accommodations for my ass. But this motherfucker forgot to put batteries in the mic. So in the middle of Perfect Fire, I was like, I'm not. And I had no fucking idea because there's no monitors and shit over there. It's just like a club. And I'm like miming the whole thing. And my wife is standing on the table that I should have kept my black ass on. And she was just like. And I was like,
miming. Well, at least I look good up here. I mean, you did have a fly outfit on, so I don't think anybody cared. I think people could hear it in their minds so clearly, the level and the state that they were at. You could have done anything. You could have shouted in their faces, and they'd be like, "Yeah, give it to me."
I know that shit was lit because I have a picture on my phone of someone's like, there's just like the floor is just like littered with like masks that had been like trampled on and like leaves and shit, and like someone's, I guess it's a bra. I don't know, but just like someone's
Oh, they're
bra.
the pasty ones that just like you just
Yeah.
yeah.
And I was just
Yes.
like, damn, girl.
You had a good night. You are
You had a
welcome.
good night. And I'm glad to have participated in that in some small way.
Oh man. Okay, Hermixalot. What is your origin story? How did you end up in the music industry?
There was a program at my high school called Yes to Jobs. And it was for students of color. And they set you up with a paid internship in your field of choice. And they didn't just, it wasn't like, here, we're dropping you in the deep end. Like they, ahead of time, they like taught you how to interview and like how to build a resume and all these things. Um, and I literally graduated from high school on a Thursday afternoon, and the next day I was working in the publicity department at Capitol Records.
Wow.
And like quite literally, I've had moments where like a music industry job wasn't my primary job because they're so fucking low paying. Like I had a moment in time where I was working at Capitol and also Universal Studios and also Radio Shack and also Jamba Juice all at the same time.
Oh my
But
goodness.
essentially, I haven't worked like a real job since.
Wow. And where did you go from there?
I was at Capitol for a couple years, and then I moved to New York, and I was just going to school. I did like street team stuff every now and then, and then I moved back and worked for a small publishing company with Universal Publishing Group, and like, fuck, I've worked everywhere. Fucking the Disney music department, Warner Brothers, just like all. It's just like get in where I fit in.
Yep. Well, when I met you, it was backstage at the Fox Theater when I was working at Another Planet Entertainment in the Bay Area when I was living there, and you were
What was I
there.
doing? Who let me back there?
You were there with a client, right? You were in management right then.
So. If I wasn't, you telling all my business right now.
I thought you were there with Fruin Management, the company you worked for. I don't think it was Lenny Kravitz, but could it have been? Cherub, maybe.
Cherub was way after. Cherub was like halfway through my Fruin Management. So it's probably Lenny.
Because we had mutual friends, but I didn't really meet you until some sort of shindig like that.
I think we were wearing matching blazers.
That sounds right.
By accident, which is so terrible.
So we thought, well, I guess we'll be best friends now.
Yeah.
It was that simple. Yeah, it's been awesome to see your journey through all the different sectors of the music industry. And I think that's why you are excelling where you are and why Femme House is excelling right now. Yeah. Hey. So what do you see for Femme House in the next few years? Do you have any certain plans that you would like us to take up? Any dreams that we can manifest?
I think that, God, I can't wait for the live music industry to come back, because one of the things that was really starting to excite me was, like, for instance, what we did at Moog Fest, which is so ridiculous because that is quite literally the first thing that we did as Femme House. Basically the first iteration of what would become our free monthly workshops. And you did Google Magenta, which is Google's AI technology for music. And it's really crazy because we had just learned about that at Google from Google like just a couple weeks prior. And somehow you were able to demonstrate on it. That's another like.
Oh, the night before in the hotel, I was definitely sweating and panicking, and I'm sure I called you 1,000 times. And like, how does this sound? Does this make sense? Does this make sense?
And I'm like, girl, I don't know.
Just get out there and do it.
Right. And I remember you called me right after, and you were like, standing room only. like they had to turn people away. And I think that is the moment that it crystallized for you, like, this is happening.
Yeah. And there was a guy in the front row who, before I started, was like, I make AI, so I'm really excited to participate in this. And I was like, oh no. That was the last thing I wanted to hear right before I started talking. Yeah, but it was the feedback we got from that, and from the excitement around the online, well, at the time, in-person workshops. Wow.
Remember
that?
In-person anything.
Was pretty remarkable.
Yeah, and I remember also we did a panel that Tiffany moderated. Tiffany Nyman. She is the foremost Bowie musicologist, Bowie specifically musicologist in quite literally the world. She moderated it, and I think it was with the only women that were playing the festival, and it was you and Madame Gandhi and Susie Analog and Drum and Lace.
Mm-hmm.
For like, isn't Moogfest like a week long or something insane like that?
Yeah.
So that's another thing.
Case in point.
Crystallized for me, like, hey yo, like, this is crazy. I think what's the latest like statistic on women headliners at festivals? It's like over the past.
Oh gosh, I don't know this. It's
for like the last like 10 years, and it's like 4% or something. And you're talking about hundreds and thousands of artists. Yeah. But that was a really important moment for me because, this as far as like music nerds and like respect and credibility and all those stupid buzzwords that men like to use to like maintain exclusivity, it doesn't get any nerdier than Moog. It's just like, it's like right at the intersection of music and science, right? And like, this is science, boys only. Like, we're serious about stuff. No pop stars. Ugh, house music. Yuck.
And also, if you're a woman, you can be seen and like maybe be a singer and be heard. And that's where it's gonna end. Yeah.
And to be given space and allowed to take up space in a space that is actually really anti, woman in a lot of ways, felt really, really important. And like, we talk a lot about visual representation and how important that is. Like, you can't know that you can be something unless you see someone that looks like you being it.
Yep.
So I really hope that when the live industry comes back, we're doing a lot more of that. And absolutely. It's a really easy way to reach a lot of people at the same time and educate people.
Yep.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so since the pandemic and we've had to move online, what are the benefits you've seen from that for Femme House specifically?
We've been able to globalize much quicker than otherwise we would have been. I mean, there's 5 of us. And like, it's fairly new that there's more than 3 of us. And, to be able to offer this thing that resonates as much with like a singer-songwriter in LA as with like an aspiring mix engineer in like Berlin is really, really special.
Absolutely.
And I've really seen our community sort of organically respond to being like separated by sort of drawing together and galvanizing in a way that's really authentic and engaged and just intentional, and that it feels really special, in a time of remarkable upheaval in nearly every aspect of life right now for all of us, to provide, a quite literal safe space.
Yep. Yeah. I love hearing that. Yes. And also, in LA, we only had spots for 13 people. And now on Zoom, we're getting, 50 to 60. And how cool that people in LA are meeting people in Berlin and vice versa.
Yeah.
And
I remember the first workshop that we had to move online. It was like, it was going to be like in 2 days, and then the shelter in place came down in LA, and we sent like our mailing list and email, and like 90% of people don't look at mailers like that, and we just put the Zoom link online, and we're like, and 100 people showed up.
So
yeah,
cool.
really cool.
Yep. Which has now, given us the courage to launch our online courses, which are more in-depth workshops. We take a workshop topic and dive into it. And again, anybody can take that online whenever works with your schedule, which has been a fun blessing. And tell us about some upcoming stuff we have, Lauren.
Yeah. A thing that, I told the story about, my origin story, so to speak, and how I got here. So a thing that's always been really important to me is like this idea of mentorship and just a general sharing of resources and like building outward as much as you're building upward. So we're going to launch a scholarship and mentorship. I guess apprenticeship is the best term for it, for a few women of color a year, in which we provide everything they need, that would otherwise be a barrier, whether that be gear or like contacts to get a job or et cetera, just every resource that we have between us. You'll get it straight from most likely me, so get used to
with some awesome partners, Guitar Center, Moog, Ableton, Native Instruments.
Yeah, one thing that has really been special to watch is, these big companies, these name brand, household name brands, with great cachet and respect attached to their name, see what we're doing and say, fuck, of course we should be doing that. Of course I'll support that. Of course, whatever you need, like, of course. And that's the only real way to sort of affect change, right? You have to get buy-in from allies, and your allies have to have power and a platform.
Yeah.
So it's been really remarkable, to see the Guitar Centers and to see Native Instruments and Ableton not just step up and say, Roland, Moog, not just step up and say, here's some gear, here's some money, whatever, but like, thank you, and like, whatever you need.
Yeah. Do you have any allies in your life that did that for you that you can recall? That helped shape and push and lift?
Yeah.
Hermixalot?
I've had a number of wonderful mentors over the years. And I'm not gonna name them because I respect my own privacy as well as theirs. But it's really important. Allyship is there has to be almost an imbalance of power for it to properly work, right? So we have privilege because we've been in this industry for a long time, and we know important people. So like our responsibility is to share it. White people have a responsibility to ally for Black people because they have white privilege, and it's their responsibility to use it and share it. Men in this industry have been some of our greatest allies and champions for Femme House specifically, and like we need them to use their power and privilege to unlock the gate. So yeah, I'm constantly leaning on mentors and allies in nearly every aspect of my life, let alone the professional. Because it's like you, for instance, I'm like, yeah, white girl, put your name on this shit. I'm coming, So.
And how important it is that in our community specifically, we are making sure we hear voices of faces that don't just look like me,
Yeah.
which is specifically why we're starting this mentorship program, to make sure we're diversifying. And that's work that is super important. We have to be very aware of that.
Yeah. And, it's really important to lift as you climb. There's no fun in being the only person like you in a room. That's not how you diversify anything. There's no fun in being the only voice like yours in the room. That's not how anything changes. When we advocate for one another as allies or those needing allies, right?
Yeah.
You get a critical mass. And all of a sudden, like, things are actually diverse and things are actually changing and things are actually reflecting what, like, basic society looks like.
This is Femme House.
Make sure you actually drop
it. Just felt right
there. You had
there.
a little button right now. Maybe you should look like this. It's just like every time somebody says something and you're like, preach, bitch. Instead of saying that, you're just like,
anytime a guest says something that is like exactly what we're here for and what we stand for, boom. I think that's actually a brilliant idea. I'm not going to write that down on my to-do list. Okay, well, what advice would you give your younger self?
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
I will take that advice from my older self as well.
Yeah, same. It's really difficult to do anything when you're scared. But, like, it's not brave unless you're scared. It's not courageous unless you're scared. And, listen, I'm a Black, queer, masculine, of-center woman. So I have a lot of reason to be scared in a lot of places. But, don't. Because there's only one you. Like, you only have one. Your point of view is yours, and it's the only one in the world. So if you feel like it needs to be shared, don't be scared to share it.
Yeah.
I would also.
It's important for the world.
I think I would also say, this is something I'm starting to understand as I get older. It's much more effective and much more fulfilling to build outward than it is to build upward. It's just like, there's always an ass to kiss. Don't waste your time. Attach yourself and your journey to someone that is where you are. And then build something cool together. Get together with your friends and do things that you like to do instead of worrying about who the SVP of whatever the fuck. That doesn't matter, because 9 times out of 10, that SVP doesn't give a damn. Do things that you like with people that you like.
This is Femme House.
That's why everything that we've done together is, like, great, because we're just 2 maniacs with dreams.
Yeah. Yes, I'm going to do some more snapping. Okay. Thank you for that. Well, thank you, Lauren Hermixalot, for taking your time with us today, and also for building and for being somebody that has pushed me and championed me and taken my word vomit and made it something beautiful, and whose words are invaluable, both in meaning and in song. I'm very grateful for you.
It's a great pleasure. I'm grateful for you, too. I'm grateful for this thing that we're building. And I'm grateful people keep showing up so I can feed my daughter. Showing up so I can feed my wife.
Oh, also, you just had a baby.
Yes. She's a fucking maniac. She's so cute, but she is a mirror. And she actually makes me understand why I am probably deeply annoying to normal people, because she's just like, let's fucking go, and I'm just like, nigga, it is 4:30 in the morning right now.
She's a partier. She'll come to those ISIS parties.
Yeah,
we'll put her on the list.
She's probably, yeah, I mean, yeah, She will.
How has that, what, do you have any advice? I mean, she's literally a newborn, so potentially this is a tricky question, but how do you balance raising a new human with chasing your dreams?
I don't balance it actually because they're intrinsically the same. Like, she's a part of my dream, right? So she gets rolled into what's already going on. It's not like she's not like a separate thing that I have to tend to. It's like, and trying to create a life that fulfills me and is in service to those around me. She's just a part. She's not, she's a branch of a big oak tree. She's not like a separate tree that I planted next to it.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
All the dreams are coming true for you, and you deserve all of them.
Thank you.
This is LP Giobbi.
Listen up, children.
You are listening to Femme House Radio.
I said listen up, children.
On Diplo's Revolution, Sirius XM.
A wonderful night is made as much by the dancers as the music. Guided as much by the spirit of joy in the room as by the hand which reaches for the next record. Each of us has a role in tonight's experience. We all play in the band. I said, we all play in the band.
This is LP Giobbi, and I founded Femme House, a 501c3 foundation and educational platform that teaches the technical areas of music making for women, non-binary, trans, and other marginalized gender identities. Every week, I will be interviewing and spotlighting women in music while bringing you the best dance tunes from around the world.